What is happening? Friends, family, and the additional 2 people who have subscribed to this podcast anywhere podcasts can be listened to. Thank you so much for your continued support. If you do want to support this podcast, I'm just going to call it out right up top here. Right at the beginning of this friggin' thing, I'm going to let you know. You can support this podcast with your hard-earned cash by going to anchor.fm/Anthony-Ladon. That's it. That's all you have to do. Well, you have to go there and then you have to click things like, hey, I want to support this podcast because I love this guy. Okay, to be fair, I don't think it actually says I love this guy. It's kind of more just implied, which, I mean, come on. It's obvious, right? Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? Actually, you know what? There's probably a few people out there. I'm on YouTube. This, if you're seeing me, this is on YouTube. If you're listening to me, you can check out my YouTube channel at youtube.com/AnthonyLadon. Just look up the name. It's my name. I'm Anthony Ladon. Hopefully you know that by now. But as I'm a little bit more active on YouTube, I see, some people click the thumbs up. Does anybody actually click the thumbs down? Is that a thing? Like I don't, because I'm just not the kind of person who takes the time to click thumbs down. Now, I don't mean to start off on a negative note because I'm being very positive about this, but there are people out there who click the thumbs down, the dislike button. Who does that? I would like to know, like, how much time do you have to have on your hands? How much extra time that you're going out of your way to watch a video and then go, nah, I don't think I like that. I'd like to let that person know. I'd like to let the world know in a very anonymous way that I didn't like it. A thumbs up, fundamentally different. That to me it's a nice way to say, hey, good work. Yeah, so the thumbs down button I think is fundamentally different than the thumbs up. The thumbs up button, nice, it's happy, it's friendly. It's a nice way to say, hey, I liked it. Good work. Thumbs down, you got to go out of your way. That's like saying I didn't like it. Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares what you think. Especially when you're a thumbs down kind of person. That's like I don't know who, I think the thumbs down thing is kind of like a Yelper. Now, I'm a proud non-Yelper. I don't even like reading Yelp reviews. I don't. I think they're kind of trash. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. So, you might disagree, in which case, cancel the hell out of me. But I don't like Yelp reviews. I shouldn't say I never, because before 10 years ago, I was probably a different person. I might have been outraged, by bad service or something, and I would let it stew inside of me, and probably the only way I could let it out would be to vent it in the form of a Yelp review, I think. Now, actually, that's not fair to my former self, my younger self. I don't know. I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure, but I'm just scared to say I've never Yelped in my life, because somebody may have the archive of the internet and they're like, dude, Anthony, we got you, dude. On this one, you Yelped. Checkmate. But yeah, never. I'm pretty sure I never Yelped. We're gonna go with never, because I want to know. I wish I had the kind of free time that a Yelper has to basically take that negative vibe and go like, you know what? I had such a bad experience. I'm gonna think about this for so long, and then I'm gonna sit down on my computer and type it out and just go, wah. That's a negative Yelp review. That's the sound I think of when somebody is writing a negative Yelp review. It's just, wah. Who cares? Nobody cares. No, but actually, the business probably cares. I've heard from a couple of restaurant people that they're like, oh God, Yelpers are the worst. I think the reason, this is just my theory or hypothesis here, but I think the reason people like the thumbs down thing or the negative Yelp review, or I'm going to throw Amazon reviews in there. Oh God, you guys are the worst. Oh, an Amazon reviewer, you are the lowest, unless it's 5 stars. but anyway, where I'm going with this is the people. I think the negative review thing gives us a way to feel like we have some sort of control in our life when really we have none. For some of us, you know, I think it's some way to say this bad thing happened and I've let it get to me, and this is the only way I can make it right is to complain about it and let the world know. Whereas if I have a bad, I'm going to brag for a second. I think, and I'd like to be the kind of person that lets that kind of stuff just roll off my back. And I think for the most part I am. Like, especially in a restaurant situation. If something's not perfect, I go out of my way to try to solve it right then and there. Oh, this is undercooked or overcooked. Let's tell the waiter or waitress and see if they can make it right. Let's give them a chance first. Hey, something didn't come out right. This drink is nasty. Or you know what? I don't like it. Is there anything you can do? And 9 times out of 10, actually 10 times out of 10, I think they'd much rather fix it right there. And they have, in my experience, which has been so nice. I don't go and gripe all the time at a restaurant. There's half the time I'm like, you know what, it's actually pretty good. I'm kind of hungry. I don't want to wait for more food to come. So we're going to call it good. But if I ever have been just in the slight bit wronged, or like my expectation hasn't been met or something, and I feel the real need to speak up, they fix it. And if they don't, or if the restaurant review is kind of like, that's how my wife and I figure out if we're going to go to another place again. Or yeah, we got to go back. Those are the two things. It's either, we got to go back. Or, that's it. The two options. There's no 5 stars. There's no 4 stars. There's no stars. There's no thumbs. They're not up or down. It's just, yeah. Oh yeah. Or, And it works for us. It works. Works for me. But yeah, I wish I had the time, the kind of free time to go in and just say, I had a bad experience. Something went wrong. I don't know why that's the voice of a negative reviewer. Apparently it's kind of Southern. Something went wrong and I got to tell the world about it. I don't think that Southern people, I tend to think of them as pretty positive, I think. I mean, if we're going to group an entire hemisphere of a country into one bucket, I think they're pretty I think they're positive. You have to be a Southerner. I mean, with everything that has happened, I think you have to be positive to want to live there. God, it's so hot and swampy all the time. And things didn't go well for you, for a while. For a while they went real well, and then they didn't. And then, they got better, but they're still not great. Yeah. I had a bad experience. I got to tell the world about it. Yeehaw. That's every negative reviewer, apparently. They're Southern. Pew, 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 pew. They have 6 shooters, and they're out there firing them off. Yeah, wish I had the free time. All right, so that's a rant. Let's check that off. I actually wasn't planning on getting into negative reviewers until later on, but we're gonna we did it. You and me together, the both of us, we did it. I don't want this pandemic to end. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. I love every minute of it. Every day gets better and better. I'll tell you why. Because I love not having to make an excuse to not go outside. Call me crazy. But I like not having to lie to my friend's face anymore to cancel plans. Hey, something came up. I can't make it out. So is there any way? I mean, granted, he would probably love it. Cancel plans are the best plans. But I no longer have to make up that actually took a lot of brain power. That took work to come up with those kind of reasons. I can't, I'm kind of hungover, not feeling too well. Any way we can push? Or I used to do the test. Hey, are we still good for this afternoon at 4? Yeah? Oh, shoot. And then a little bit later, you know what? I was hoping to have something done. Can't get it done in time. Anyway, we can push to never. But yeah, pandemic put the kibosh on almost all plans. We're starting to see plans now. I guess especially in the South as your rates skyrocket because everybody wants to get back outside and hug and touch and eat and drink. God, you guys. I mean, New York had it pretty bad for a while too. We were pretty bad here. I wasn't. I was indoors. And now I only go outdoors to take my dog for a walk, or once a week I get together with a friend, mostly because I'm out of practice for coming up with those excuses. That's it. We eat outside, have a glass of wine, and talk like this. This is pretty much our entire conversation is what I'm sharing with you right now. But that's why I don't want this pandemic to... Now, I know it's very tough for some people, / all people, most, but I love it. I don't feel guilty focusing on a routine or like the work or reading a book. And not that anybody should feel guilty reading a book. I wish more people read books. There should be... I wish we could grease the wheels for people to read books, especially in the South. I don't know if you guys have books down there. You should get them. They're great. They're very educational. Well, maybe that's why you don't have them. But I would love... If I listened to podcasts, I might research and look up to see if there are Southerners who actually push back against the stereotype. I mean, I'm sure there are. It's unfair. I get that. But it's just, I don't know, it's kind of fun sometimes. I think because it's a little bit hacky, like everybody kind of knows it. Everybody's like, wow, Southerners are dumb. But I don't know, it's just kind of fun. I mean, it's not fun. It's fun at your expense, which is not right. It's not fair. I'm just going to leave that there. Yeah, it's nice. I have loved getting into a routine. So I kind of had a routine before this, but I've loved being able to kind of know, all right, I'm going to make breakfast around the same time every day. My wife and I now have a date, like a standing date every day with Jillian Michaels for her 30-day shred program that we picked up for like $5 on Apple TV, and it just rocks. More on that in a minute. Yeah, coffee, breakfast. No, coffee, Jillian Michaels, breakfast, work, and before and after those things. Wake up at 5 every day. Cocktail hour but we're just going to call it 5 every day. Could be mocktail hour. I've talked about that before on this thing. But I like it. And when you have outside distractions, that kind of pulls you away from the little, homebody good feelings that, I've come to appreciate a little bit. Now I still get happy when I get to go outside. I got to get over that little hump of, okay. You get to get outside. I mean, when you get to be my age and just sitting up, it's kind of, okay. And that's the sound I make whenever I need to go outside. It's just, yeah, okay, all right, let's do this. But then I get excited. Then I'm outside. I'm out having fun with people. One person, really. The other day it was 2. Because, we don't want to kill people with COVID. So we're trying to be responsible humans here. Unlike everybody else that's got to get out there and hug and touch and do weird things. I don't know what the weird things would be beyond hugging and touching. I should probably say something to avoid that kind of silence sitting there right after the weird things. So I don't know what the weird things are. And we're just going to go ahead and skip by that because I don't want to have to substantiate it with what I think I meant because I have no idea what I meant. I received an email today from somebody who used the acronym. Is it an acronym or an initialism? If you know the answer to that, please email me at POAT-podcast, P-O-A-T podcast @gmail.com. P-O-A-T-P-O-D-C-A-S-T @gmail.com. Just tell me whether ASAP or as soon as possible is an acronym or an initialism because I'm too lazy to go look it up. I don't want to do it. I'm not going to. We're just going to bulldoze right through whatever learning moment that could have been. But somebody sent me ASAP. And when I read ASAP, I'm going to do it as slow as possible. That's how I read it now. It's no longer as soon as possible. You know what? Why would you even say as soon as possible? Isn't it kind of obvious? Like, hey, can you do something? But take your time. No, nobody said that's not the point. It's, hey, can you do something? As soon as you can would be great. don't say as soon as, I think if you're still writing as soon as possible in an email or a Slack thread or any kind of medium, you're a douchebag. I think you're a little bit out of touch. You don't know how other people operate. I think because you don't know how you operate. I think. Who said as soon as possible? No. You know what? I use this email app called Spark, and it has this amazing feature where I can snooze emails. And I have an auto rule set up so that when an email comes in and it scans it, and if in the body or in the subject line it says ASAP, it snoozes it for a week. Just right there. I don't even see it. So actually, this guy probably emailed me a week ago. Maybe I should take a look at it. I won't. I might just snooze it again. ASAP, come on. No. Yeah, that's ASAP. That's my... I don't think I've ever said ASAP because I'm not a douchebag. Well, he who doth protest kind of a thing here. I probably am. I'm maybe moderately, but I'm pretty sure I've never used the word ASAP unless I respond back to that person saying, hey, I didn't do this, or I did do this ASAP, as slow as possible. I don't think it's a bad idea. I just think your definition of ASAP and my definition of ASAP are two different things. Also, is that how we're saying it? Is it ASAP? Do people actually say ASAP? This is another thing you should let me know, because I'm so out of touch with the world. Maybe I'm out of touch with everybody. Maybe everybody else is using as soon as possible or ASAP or whatever, and I'm the only one not doing it. Boy, that's a little rough. That's hard to swallow. Maybe this person maybe I should rethink my entire life. I'm not going to do that. So the phrase great minds think alike. I think that's true. I think great minds think alike. Great minds also think differently, but some of them tend to think alike. But I think that small minds also think alike. I'm pretty sure this is true. And I think that's increasingly more obvious to me, at least, after COVID came out. And specifically, the reason I think that is there are people out there saying like, hey, I don't think COVID's a real big deal. Like, there's only 2 people. I work at a hospital and there's only 2 people that ever had it in my hospital. And that might be true. Okay. I'm just going to give you the benefit of the doubt because I think that's an interesting starting point. And I think we should just give it to you. If that's true, why does that also mean that it's probably true everywhere else? That's what I think a small mind is. Someone who has a spotlight right on something just in front of them. And it's like, well, this is my world. Therefore, it's everyone else's world as well. There's only 2 people here that have COVID. And so then everywhere else, it must be exactly the same. Read a book. Pull your head out of wherever you've got it securely lodged. But I think that a lot of people have that. I think that's very true. I think it's small minds. They're out there. I mean, to a certain extent, we're all kind of small-minded. You can't really measure it. I'm sure I've been small-minded tons of times. I think I have to be small-minded to have a podcast. I have to assume the world needs me. Even though I have no information telling me that. I've got to be small-minded enough to think that. Or that somebody might enjoy this. Like, the whole point of this is to be entertaining. And hopefully it is. It entertains me at least. So that's 1 person. My mom, that's 2. And maybe a few others. Great. But I have to, that's one time where I think a small mind may come in handy. I have to assume that it's gold when it hits the airwaves, when Spotify gets it. Because back to the review thing, I don't want to read the reviews. I think that's terrible on the creative process. I think because you can't let that stuff get to you. You can't let it seep in under your skin and then start self-censoring. Oh, will they like this? Will they not like this? Oh God, I can't. I gotta fix it. And then you end up not writing anything because you're just thinking, oh God, you're scared. I've been like that. That happens all the time. I mean, I think you kind of have to walk a fine line when you write material for stand-up. At least for me, I do, because when I write it, I have to be able to shut off the front of my brain a little bit long enough to be able to spit something out on the page and then take it to the stage and see if anybody likes it. Oftentimes nobody does. And that's the time when you need to read the room or read the reviews in that case. And it's like, okay, none of that worked. Good to know. But then you have to find a way to shut that right back off. I've read one review for this podcast, only because it was like day 1 or 2 and somebody described it as a long-winded voicemail from your friend who won't shut up, but who has funny thoughts on things. I might be paraphrasing. It might have been a 1-star review, but I think it was great. I just wanted that one. That was a positive thing. Great. And then, you have to kind of keep tricking yourself that things are all good in order to produce something. And then, the world can bash it. They can cancel it, bash it, get out there and get into it. Those are probably the only 2 options now. It feels like there's no longer like a discussion. It's no longer, this isn't for me. It's, I heard something, I didn't like it, they should die. Which is frightening. I think that, I don't know, I think that's like people living in a very black and white world where it's only my thought and the wrong way. My way and the wrong way. There's a lot of other ways, man. Which, I had to grapple with that when our current president was elected, and I didn't think that was going to happen, but clearly everybody was wrong, that didn't think it was going to happen. And it turned out there were a lot of people who voted for him. And that was that's a wake-up call, I think, to a lot of people. This has been hashed out. This is not new news. It's been hashed out, I think, in the news. It's old news. At one point it was new news. Now it's really old news. But I use that as an example to remind myself that there are other people out there who are different from me. It's not I have to remember when I feel like a small mind, there's others out there. There are other small minds. And hopefully by realizing that, maybe I can expand my mind a little bit and pay attention. But yeah, and then have a discussion. If you're at all interested in this topic, there is a book that I would very highly recommend that I think I read in my book club 8 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. It was definitely before Trump, but I think it's even more important now. And it's Jonathan Haidt, Haidt is the author. And The Righteous Mind. Oh, yes. Righteous Mind. Go buy it. Get it. It's so good. The gist of it is it gives readers a vocabulary to think about and analyze and talk about people with differing opinions. So the most obvious one is conservatives and liberals, but on specific things, right? So it could be gun rights or abortion or religion or, whatever it is. But the whole point of the book is these are important things to one group, but not important things to another group. How can those two groups talk about those things? It is, again, it helps it helped me at least understand why people have differing opinions and very strongly differing, and how to have a better, more fruitful conversation between those two groups, or between or among all groups, but specifically, if we're just using examples here of liberal and conservative on a specific thing, let's just say it's fiscal conservative versus a fiscal liberal or something like that. It helps us understand what's a way that these two people can talk a little bit more. I was almost going to say a little bit more better, because I'm from the South. No, I just got health insurance. Just got it. Just took effect August 1. And as somebody who takes care of himself, I am paying a lot of money to take care of somebody else. That's how this works. I hope everybody realizes that I'm bringing down the average here. And not just me, others like me. And that's, but on the other hand, it's, I need it. I should probably get it just in case. I've had 10 years of no problems, at least. And for the small problems I did have, I paid cash. Do you know how much you can reduce your hospital bill if you say, hey, can I pay cash? Or even credit card. Credit card works. I went to the ER. Oh, when was this? This was 12 years ago. At one point I had a pulmonary embolism, and that was a bad thing. I had insurance then. But then after that, I went to the ER and I thought I had insurance and I didn't, because I thought I might have had another one. And they were like, hey, we can't find your insurance, so we're just going to bill you. And I'm like, cool. Can I just pay now? Can I just use a credit card? And they're like, yeah, actually, if you can pay right now, we'll essentially cut your bill in half. In half. Why doesn't insurance ask us to pay up front just to cut it down and then reimburse us? Wouldn't that be better? I got a ton of points out of it too. It was great. I think I was able to afford like a domestic coach ticket on Southwest. But yeah, it was a fantastic deal. And then later on, I had this is going to sound terrible. I had a sty on my eye that had it wasn't a sty. It was something, and it was on my eye, but it was just kind of visible, like it was always there. And it was there for months. I thought it was a sty. It wasn't a sty. I went to the eye doctor. They're like, it's not a sty, but it's not a big deal. You can keep it, or you can get rid of it. I said, let's get rid of it. So I went to the I think it was the ophthalmologist or ophthalmologist, whatever, the more important one, the better educated one. Optometrist. No, ophthalmologist. Is that the structure? Anyway, I don't know. If you know the answer, send an email to POAT @gmail.com. I'm basically dying for knowledge here because I'm too lazy to look it up. But anyway, where was I? Oh, ophthalmologist. Yeah. And so he did the whole thing. Actually, before he did it, he's like, hey, I can fix this for you. He did a little assessment, and then he's like, I can take it out for you, or take it off for you, no problem. It's going to take a day though. You got to come back because we got to figure out if your insurance is going to cover it. And I said the magic words, no insurance. And he's like, hang tight. And then 15 minutes later, I was on a table. He did his thing. The thing, by the way, hurt. The numbing part was the worst part. He's like, all right, you're going to feel a little pinch while I inject the anesthetic. Is it anesthetic? No. What is the word that I'm trying to look for? Anesthesia? That's what I'm thinking of. Man, now who has a small mind? It's anesthetic. I don't know what it is. The numbing stuff. God, Anthony. Tiny brain. But yeah, that was a big pinch. He said, you're going to feel a small pinch. I felt a very big pinch. And then everything went black on that side. And he did his thing. He's like, okay, you're done. And the bill I got, I paid right there with another credit card, half. He was able to lop off half of the bill right there. I think I walked out of there paying like $300 on the credit card again. So I got points. It was perfect. I could use it for like a gift card, one of those cash out on Amex or whatever cards. And it was fantastic. What a great doctor too. I can't remember his name. I would plug him right here, but I don't remember. But anyway, that's an amazing, anyway, that's insurance. Where was I going back? Oh yeah. So I just now got insurance. It costs, no, I got the cheapest one I could find. $800 a month for 2 people. That is a huge amount of money, I think. And they don't even offer catastrophic insurance to me because I think I'm above 32 years old or 33 years old. And that's the cutoff for catastrophic. Like that's what I want it for. If I get hit by a bus and there's a chance they can save me, and it's going to cost $200,000, and I don't want to pay for that. Okay, maybe insurance that I want that to cover it. But as it stands now, I'm paying just to cover all the little things, and I'm very thankful. I have no problems anymore, not physically at least. Why is it so hard to get fresh fish in New York City? We're on the coast. We're not far from where the fish live, and time again, I can't get fresh fish. There's a fishmonger 2 streets down, 2 blocks down, and the place reeks, so I don't go there. That's my one rule is if I can smell your fish, I'm not shopping there. The one across the street, same deal. I can smell it. I'm not going to shop there. Fish don't smell when they come out of the sea. They shouldn't smell when they come out of your store. But why is it hard here? We're right there. We're right on the water. I can see the water. It's right there. It's right behind me. And still we can't get fresh seafood. And this is New York. Like, wouldn't there be enough people wanting seafood where we can have like a dedicated bus right from the ocean, boop, right to Midtown Manhattan? Why is it so hard? Fresh Direct is pretty good. I get groceries delivered from them, and they're pretty good. The only other pretty good one was Whole Foods. And, you pay for it, but that's fine. I'd rather pay an arm and a leg occasionally for really good seafood. But the other day, from Fresh Direct, who I love, I got scallops because they're so much cheaper to prepare at home, and they're so easy to prepare at home. I don't know if you know this, but it takes 3 minutes to cook scallops and 30 seconds to eat them. But you can do them real fast. 2 minutes on just a pan, high heat, little olive oil in there. Drop in the scallops, and 2 minutes on one side, one on the other. Done. That's all you need. And salt them, obviously, before. But anyway, why it's so hard to get them? They came in, and they kind of smelled. They came in a little plastic clamshell. Another seafood thing. A little plastic clamshell with a little white pad that's like, that absorbs all the moisture, and then it just starts stinking apparently. But they stunk a little bit. I rinsed them off. I thought I smelled, each individual scallop, and I thought they were okay. Cooked them the next day, one day afterwards. This was like 3 days before the Best By date. Not good. I mean, they tasted, they tasted good, but for the most part, it's never bad. I never get like rotten. I did have to throw out some stuff in the past, but that's like in the last 10 years. But when you cook it, sometimes it starts to smell a little bit. And when you have good seafood, fresh seafood, you never get that. But though with the scallops, I did. I don't know why is it so hard? If you know the answer, you know where to email. potepodcast@gmail.com. That was actually, thankfully, and also I've stopped eating seafood. Not entirely, but a lot. I've stopped eating fish because I read a book called Outlaw Ocean, and apparently it scared me from eating seafood. Not entirely, but now I have to check like the sustainability ratings, the ethical ratings. Like Monterey Bay Aquarium has their thing where they go into real big. Where am I trying to go with this? Real big depth, Anthony? No, come on. But they go and they like rate each fish in the region where it's typically caught, and they tell you with a color code, good, bad, or avoid it altogether. And most is avoid altogether. The farmed Atlantic salmon, green light, baby, all the way. There's an Atlantic farmed salmon I get from an inland farm in Iceland, and I love it because it's cheap, it's so tasty, and I know that their sustainability rating is great. There's no chance the farmed fish, in case they're genetically different or whatever than the outside fish, there's no way that they can get out because they're what are they going to do? Catch a bus? Just a fish. He's like jumping out, flopping around. He's like hitchhiking all the way down. Hey, I'm outside of Husavik. Can I get down to Reykjavik? No. Well, number one, they don't speak English. It'd be Icelandic. Yeah. But anyway, less seafood. Outlaw Ocean. Fantastic book, actually. That was another book club book. But yeah, Outlaw Ocean. Really interesting. I didn't realize sea slavery was the thing, where they captured dudes in Southeast Asian countries, forced them to live on boats, crammed together. It's not good. Put on iron collars. It's scary stuff. And so anyway, now I don't want to participate in that in any way, shape, or form, but I'm also a little bit lazy, so I don't want to do all the research. So I know I found my Atlantic salmon. I'm good there. Shellfish in the U.S. is good, at least according to the sustainability ratings. And not just sustainability, like the whole ethical thing and all that fun stuff. I'm not real big into this stuff. Because I read a book, now I care about it. Imagine if we read books about actual important things and started caring about that. That'd be weird. People on YouTube, you probably know this, but if you're listening to this on Spotify podcasts or on Apple or wherever you listen to podcasts, I do YouTube videos, and most of them are cooking related, or they're these podcasts. Those are kind of the two things I do. I don't know where I was going with that. Oh, if you have cooking related questions, that's something I'm really passionate about. Cooking, cocktails, comedy, those are like the 3 C's. Any C word. I love all the C words. Especially the bad ones, like crumpet. You're telling me. Whew. But yes, C words are fun. But yeah, if you have cooking related questions, send them on in. popepodcast@gmail.com. Those are my favorite because for a while, I did a live stream during quarantine, and I'm tossing around the idea of bringing it back maybe once a week or something, maybe doing like a what's in Anthony's fridge or what's in my fridge deal, and just doing like almost like an improv show for cooking, and not the bad part of improv show in general, but the fun part, where it's like, I'm going to make something up on the spot. I don't know if that would be interesting to anybody. I'm toying around with the idea. Let me know in the comments or reviews or something. Find some way to tell me. Not in the reviews. I don't read them. I'm not going to, because I don't care what you think. Oh, and one thing I'm super excited about. Oh my God, I totally forgot about this. I redid my website. And by I mean my wife. So in addition to being a New York Times best-selling author and New York Times bestselling author, she's a USA Today bestselling author. I think she's also listed on Wall Street Journal. I may be making that up. She's published in 12 different languages, which means probably close to 30 countries, because Spanish goes a long way. Even she's also in Macedonia. She was translated to whatever language they speak in Macedonia, probably some sort of Serbian. I actually don't know. And is this like the Greek Macedonia or Macedonia? I think wasn't there like a deal in the news a couple of years ago where the Republic of Macedonia wanted to take back the name or something? Anyway, don't quote me on that. I don't want to be spreading false news, fake news here. But anyway, my wife and I run a website design company. And in addition to being an author, she is a whiz with websites. And I said the magic words, "Can you help me with my website?" I didn't see her for 24 hours. She came out of this room, actually, the cave, with a brand new website for me, just like Moses coming down from the mountain with her. She actually brought it out on a tablet, too. It was an iPad. And she's like, "What do you think? You like it?" There were 10 pages. No, that's where the analogy ends. But yeah, it's a fantastic new site. Go check it out. It's anthonyledon.com. I'm so proud of it, even though I didn't do anything. Except the pictures, I didn't even take those. I'm in them. Those were done by Mindy Tucker, fantastic headshotist and photographer in New York. I think she's in Queens or Brooklyn. I can't remember where we met, but she's absolutely fantastic. Does a lot of photography in the comedy scene here in New York. But yeah, she was responsible for my headshots. I mean, but really all the credit goes to me because I had to be there. Like without me, they would not have gotten done, obviously. Without her, they probably wouldn't have either. Same thing goes with the website. Without me, there'd be no site. But without her, the site would look terrible. So yeah, got a brand new website. Just launched it yesterday. I'm super stoked. Go check it out. I need the traffic hits. I need to check analytics every single day and see the little tiny spikes. I'd love to see more traffic there. No, I'm just kidding. You know what? If you don't like the internet, don't go there. Don't check it out. Or if you don't like websites. But there's funny stuff. If you want recipes, they're there. I write a few articles on the site as well, so you can find that kind of stuff there. There's a little bit more get to know me. If you want, I don't feel obligated to get to know me. I don't, if you care, there's information there. I don't want, this isn't like a kumbaya, let's be friends. Hopefully this is entertaining to you. And if not, I'm not your guy. Very sorry about that. But yeah, brand new website. So happy. So happy. And it looks, oh my God, it's my best website ever because it's the first one I haven't designed myself. So that's pretty cool. And you can check out her website, laurenlayne.com, LaurenLayne.com. Brand new website. And our website design company, I think I'm very proud of. That's another cool website, lastworddesigns.com. Named after the cocktail, Last Word, in case anybody's curious. I was talking with my wife, Lauren, the other night. Well, by the way, when you are about to tell a dumb story to somebody, do you ever preface it by saying, I was thinking the other day, or, well, it's the other day this happened. I do it a lot. And I don't know if that's because I'm telling stories on stage and it's hacky, but a lot of people, well, that's what hacky is. A lot of people do it, but it's common to say, well, the other day this thing happened. I don't know if do you do that? Like I do. I even go so far as to say, I was thinking yesterday afternoon about some sort of topic that I'd love to now talk to you about. Why don't you just start talking about it? Anthony, this is advice for myself. But anyway, my wife and I were chatting the other day, and we were talking about some of the lessons that we learned from our parents. I think we're lucky enough to have great parents. And as a little kid, the lesson I learned, you know what, we're going to save this for the next podcast. We'll always leave and want more. Usually I hate, because I'm usually on the bad end of it, where it's like, yeah, we wanted you to be better. We wanted more out of you. But you know what? We're going to cut it here. We're just going to stop it. All right. Thank you so much for listening. This has been so much fun. I have loved being in your ears and right in your face for the last, 45 minutes, 40 minutes. And I hope we can do it again sometime. If you'd like to support this podcast, it would make my day. I love seeing that. And it's one way to tell me that you appreciate this and that I'm doing the right thing here. You can find that like in the podcast link, or go to anchor.fm/Anthony-Ladon. And I realize that is very verbose. That's a lot of characters there. But if you do want to support this and support me, let me know. Also, send an email. If you have questions, topic suggestions, I'd love to know what's on your mind, because as I've mentioned on this thing a handful of times, I only check news now as much as I can. I try to stick to this a couple of times a week, once or twice a week. So I don't know what's trending. I don't know what's hip, what's hot, or what's not. But if you do have something that you'd love for me to yak about, hit me up. Poet Podcast, POET Podcast @gmail.com. I'm your host, Anthony Ladon, and we should have outro music here if I cared. But I don't. I think you guys got out of this what you wanted to. I don't think the outro music is going to make a big difference. Don't have sponsors, so I don't need to say this one brought to you by anybody else but me and you. It's viewers like you. I feel like this is kind of that PBS moment where it's like, hey, we'd love to ask you for money. And why does PBS sound like a total nerd? Well, PBS is a total nerd. I love PBS. Now I'm just rambling about PBS. Anthony, don't do that. Stop it. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been so much fun yakking at you. Join me next week for another episode. All right. Take care. Bye.